Hola, saludos, and welcome. Happy Monday, and welcome to Beyond the Rumors, the authentic mezcal from Oaxaca. I'm Jomar, your host for today. In today's class, Jomar Santos. I'm from Puerto Rico, but over here in Savannah, Georgia, this bustling, beautiful city of Savannah, Georgia. I work at Savoy Society and many other beautiful projects. Joining me today is el doctor Jorge Vera Garcia, founder of Convite Mezcal and president of Mezcal Cluster. Welcome, bienvenidos to this class for today. And here's to all the mezcaleros and mezcal. So, dishbe, cheers. We are wrapping it up today, the Mexican Spirit Month, by diving into all things mezcal, from the basic productions standards with Jorge, and also providing a look at all the methods and everything that happens behind Convite production. And we will be chatting with all things they do over there at the Palenque and the beautiful mezcals and my own experience while I was attending the bar residency with Convite. That is an amazing experience. If you haven't got a chance to check it out, please do. Um, as we mentioned last week with last week class, Demian Diaz and Oton Nolasco of No Us Without You curated these beautiful classes for the uh, Agave Mexican Spirit Month. Uh, and they brought all these things to bring attention to, you know, bring food to those that are needed, that work in our industry, beautiful industry. So if you haven't checked it out, please do. It's Not Us Without You at .la. So please join and support Damien and Oton on their mission to provide food to hospitality workers facing food scarcity. So only $33 will feed a family for of four for a few for a whole week. So make sure you hit the link and link today. So let's dive into it. What do you think, Jorge? Should we have mezcal para todo bien y para todo mal?
Definitivamente, definitely. Well, good morning to everybody, and good morning here from Oaxaca to all of you. I'm very happy to be here and to talk to you about, a little bit about mezcal. And thank you, Jomar, for being here and for presenting me. I'm really glad we met here in Oaxaca during the during the this program that we have. We invite some bartenders from the US to come here for a bartender residency 1 month. And yes, we met and we are still friends. We are very good friends.
Yes,
and
we
I'm
are.
happy because of that.
Should we go into the slides in your presentation?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you, you all. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Also, Jorge, how about if you tell us a little bit of yourself?
Yeah, of course. Well, myself, I'm Jorge Vera. I'm from Oaxaca City. I studied here until high school. Then I went to do my BA in economics in Mexico City. Then I went to England and I did a master's and a PhD in economics in regional development. I did my PhD at the London School of Economics. Then came back to Mexico City. I was working as a professor, and then I was working as well in the Federal Government Ministry of Employment and Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And then I was not really happy with what I was doing, really. So I quit. I decided to do other things that they were more important for me. So I started to launch Mezcal Convite. That was like more than 10 years ago. And it was like giving more to the community than what I was doing in the past. So to me, Mezcal is my life. Mezcal is what I do. My passion is what I do every day. So and then from from the time when I was traveling to Mexico City or abroad, I was always thinking that mezcal it was an excellent product that represents my state, that represents um, my community. So that's why I came back. I think it's a destiny that I came back. My destiny to come back to mezcal. I am also and then I'm also president of the Cluster de Mezcal Oaxaca, which represents mezcaleros from Oaxaca. So basically what we do is to have more representation for different activities. And also, for instance, you know that we have 9 states with designation of origin mezcal. But the thing is that we just want to stop it. And then 4 other states applied in the last 5 years, and then it's something that we want to prevent, that we're working on that legally. But basically, we want to promote more mezcal and the good mezcal from Oaxaca. That's what I do, and that's what I believe.
Definitivo. So let's hear more about it on Beyond the Rumors and Authentic Mezcal from Oaxaca. What do you got for us?
Cool. So basically, I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about the history of mezcal, about normativity, designation of origin, and mezcal booming, some statistics, and then we are going to talk briefly about what's our fate, what we decided in Convite, whether we wanted to become agave spirits or we wanted to keep as a mezcal, and what we do, which are our standards, and then which is the brands and the agave mezcaleros that we have, that we produce. So basically, this is a talk where we can talk a little bit about everything about mezcal and about agaves. So I'm very happy to talk to you. I know the process. I know people. I've been here in the industry for many years, and then I also and also because being the president of the Cluster Mezcal, I am know also about even about politics. So we can talk. The idea is that I can talk to you like around half an hour or 25 minutes, and then we'll have more time for if you have some questions or you want to discuss something that is presented here.
Excellent. Let's go into it.
Cool. So mezcal is what is mezcal? Mezcal is made out of agaves. Agaves are plants that have been growing here in Mexico and not elsewhere. This type of specific agaves that have a lot of sugar, that they are able to produce these spirits. And agave needs to be cooked in order to pass from complex sugar into simple sugar. So that's why we cook it. So that's why we bake it in this pit oven. And then the fruit that we obtain out of the cooking is extremely sweet, very sweet, sweeter than sugar cane. And then we ferment it, and then after fermentation we distill it. So basically, this is mezcal, and mezcal has been on for many years. We believe there is not like a proper age where we can refer to when mezcal started to be produced in Mexico. But what we know is that at least that what we could trace is that at least it goes back like around more than 250 years. Oh. And mezcal was not like what we know right now. Mezcal was produced in small batches, so they were like around 4 or 5 liter batch. So nobody knew really about the beverage at that time. Mezcal was produced in the mountains, and then all the wild agaves that they were around. So the maestros mezcaleros at that time, what they were using for mezcal were using only wild agaves. So the pit oven was quite small, and then also it was a very tiny production. As I told you, there were like 4 or 5 liters batches. So and then how we started to sell it in the market, how mezcal was started to be sold in the market. So it was basically through religious parties. Every town in Mexico, and especially here in Oaxaca, has its saints or Virgin's Day. At that time is where we have like a big party. So and that big party is where at this spiritual party somehow. There is in this celebration, we invite everybody to come to join us, to be happy with us, and to celebrate the Saints' Day or the Virgin's Day. And then you have like everything that is religious, but also you have mezcal. So you're being invited to eat what you have normally is a Mexican barbecue, and then your mezcal. So that's the way that mezcal started to be sold and started to be spread in the Oaxacan culture. Then what happened is women and especially partners from the maestros mezcaleros, they were selling the product in the market, no? And then they were sold like, by least a quantity of 3 liters, 4 liters mezcal containers. And then that was the story of mezcal. But mezcal used to be a peasant's drink. So it was a mezcal that with very low production. And then it was also not popular. I remember when I was a kid, we went to drink to a party, but then it was not that popular. It was not as we know. It was not as fine and refined and with the quality that we have right now. So if you have something else better to drink, people used to drink that. So that's what people were drinking. So it was not like mezcal was not the first choice. It was other drinks. It was like beer. It was even rum or whatever. But mezcal was just the last thing. Yes, it has been there for a long time, but it was not popular. But what happened? What changed the whole thing? It was something that started to grow with mezcal. One of the good things that it was made around the 70s and the 80s, it was that the mezcal with the worm. People used to put the worm inside, and so it made a little bit of difference. People start to get to know about mezcal, and people used to think that mezcal was the tequila with the worm inside. So it was not. It was more or less the same thing. And then that started little by little to be a little bit more known. But what is the real point that made the whole change? So in 1994, some producers and the Mexican government created this designation, protected the designation of origin mezcal. So it was this declaration that establishes where and how mezcal has been produced in the past. And then there was this declaratory that was signed by the Mexican federal government, and then it was recognized at the Lisboa Treaty. So basically, it was recognized at the international level. It's important to remember that we have in Mexico only 2 products with protected destination of origin. So one of them is mezcal, and the other one is tequila. Despite the fact that we have 21 products with a declaratory protecting the denomination of origin, so there are only 2 of them that are working properly. But why they are working properly? It's because they have this declaratory, but they also have a Mexican standard, which is very important. The Mexican standard, in this case, Norma Oficial Mexicana 070, NOM 070, establishes all the conditions how mezcal must be produced. So it's basically from where you're obtaining the agaves, having full traceability, having a physical chemical analysis, and then that the labels meet all the requirements. So, and then the other part is that these protected products with destination of origin must have also council authority certification that oversees that everything is produced according to the standard. So it was in 1994 when we had the declaration to protect the destination of origin mezcal. But it took 11 years, so from 1994 to 2005, to create the standard for mezcal and to create mezcal body mezcal certification body. So it was 11 years, and it was only until 2005 when we have the first certified product as mezcal. So it was that time, 2005, when we had the first bottle that was certified as mezcal, and from then mezcal started to grow. So that was one of the important parts that helped mezcal to grow. Another part as well has been gastronomy. Gastronomy has been very important in the Oaxacan context. As you might know, Oaxaca, I would say that is one of the two or one of the three best cuisines in Mexico. But recently, in the last 5 years, it became very, very trendy in Mexico and abroad. So, and then also we had like new chefs in Oaxaca that were using the ingredients that we normally have here, like herbs, spices, chilies, but in a different way, cooked in a different way. So they created this new cuisine, this new Oaxaca cuisine, and then all those guys became also like famous, and they were also ambassadors, mezcal ambassadors. Mezcal everywhere they wanted, everywhere they go, they had they took mezcal. So I think that they were the second leading force for the growth of mezcal, and of course the third one, which became a little bit later, it was about bartenders, and especially not Mexican, but bartenders from the US, from Europe, that started to get to know the product and got also inspired. No, they wanted to know more about about mezcal. That also brought this new wave to Mexico. So, and then mezcal started to become famous in the best bars of Mexico, the best restaurants in Mexico, but that was in the last 15 years. Okay. Then it became also famous in Oaxaca. So, despite the fact that it's a traditional beverage, started to become more popular. And nowadays, I would say that in the last 3 years, we are also in Oaxaca, we are turning into a cocktail culture. But because in the past, we in Oaxaca, we thought that it was not possible, it was basically impossible to drink mezcal to be mixed with something else, because people used to think that mezcal should be drink neat. But those kind of things have been changing. And as I told you, as you can see, mezcal is just a new beverage, it's like a new thing, but it has been growing also with this new standard and also with this protected destination of origin. No?
But that's great that that Oaxacans are recognizing like their heritage of like, oh yeah, we sip this neat, but now we didn't thought about like using our own flavors and mixing this our national spirit to make it more playful. And that's great that it's keep growing in the city as well. So
yeah, definitely. And as you saw it, Jomar, it was the younger are the ones like really interested in cocktails, in making cocktails in Oaxaca. But it's also people are realizing how important it is to show mezcal not only to be not only neat, that you could also mix it, and it's another way of presenting mezcal to the world. So I think that these things are changing. So as I told you, so 2005 we started with this with mezcal as we know it, because the standards started to be set in industry, and then everybody got to know the same standards, same rules for everyone, start to apply, and then more people start to get to know a product that had much more quality than it used to have in the past. So, but what is that makes a little bit different? The Mexican standard is talking about some basic points, basically. Is that full traceability, that you know where you obtain the agave from which field, that it has to have a 100% agave, it has to be 100% agave plant. And this is what makes us different, what makes mezcal different, because when you see a bottle of different products, different spirits, like rum and whiskey, it doesn't tell you much about which is the percentage of the grains or the plants that are there. So whereas in the mezcal we always wanted to have it like 100% agave. Also, as you may know, tequila, it could be 51% agave, 49% other sugar. But mezcal is also that makes it different, that is 100% agave. Then also that you have to register your agave fields and the ABV that goes from 35 to 55 alcohol percentage. That's what the Mexican standard, the law allows. No? And another important part is also the physical chemical analysis. I would say that this is the most important part to see because of the toxicity that the mezcal could have, no? Especially because of the fermentation, that we have wild fermentation. So that makes a lot of, we have a lot of problems there. So that's very important to have the physical chemical analysis. I think that this is the most important part. But what the standard is just, the Mexican standard NOM 070, what tells you is basically just giving you some basic rules on how we can all the producers, how we can all mezcaleros can produce have a basic standards.
So talking about that, that's this little sticker that we can see in our mezcal bottles. That's where you can find that toxicity or analysis.
That's correct.
Right over here.
Yeah. So thank you, Jomar. Yeah, basically there, where this hologram is just telling you that it's certified, that it has like the full traceability, that it was 100%, and that has had a physical, that the mezcal, that the drink that you have in your hands has had a physical chemical analysis. No? That basically is telling you that, it's telling you about toxicity. No?
That's great to know, because when I went over there to Oaxaca, I didn't knew anything about that. And then suddenly it's like, oh, that's great, because I can really see what I'm drinking. So.
Yeah, it doesn't tell you anything about quality. It just tells you just basics that we should all have
exactly
to give it to the consumer.
All right.
So then, as we have seen, no, just mezcal has boomed in the last years. It was 3 points that we have pointed out. No, one is this declaratory of protecting the designation of origin, the Mexican standard for mezcal, the certification body. Then also came the chefs and the bartenders, no? Who start to promote Oaxaca, to start to promote mezcal, and then everything started to grow. Here we have a chart about mezcal production. So this is the figures that we have from the Mezcal Council Authority. If we see in 2012, in 2011, we produced like about 1 million liters. And if we compare it now to 2023, they're the figures, 2023, we produced 12 million liters of mezcal. That was the whole category. So that happened, as you can see, so it's something that is growing. Yes, it has been growing like around 20% per year. But it's also, people start to get to know what is mezcal, no? What is it that makes it different to other spirits? But this just has happened in the last years. So, and many things we're also discovering with mezcal. We're also discovering how to mix it, with which is the best mixer. So there are like many things to be known with mezcal. You know, as everything just evolves, some things evolves good, or some good doesn't evolve that good. So we had the Mexican standard for mezcal. Then we have the certification authority body that certifies that everything is produced according to the standard. But then we have had like some issues, no, on about the how good is the authority is measuring that, no? If there is some favoritism, or whether it is a good thing to do, no? So, and then it was that started to happen in the last 3 years, in fact. So people start to talk about agave spirits like an alternative for mezcal. And then where you take your brand to into agave spirit brand, or you take it as a mezcal, no? And then in Convite, this is what we were thinking of. We believe that we have to provide a very good product to the consumer with high standards, with tradition, and the drink with this high quality. But then we also believe that we have to be different. We have to be different and also to protect what we have, no? Which is mezcal, and also because what we want in Convite is like to protect that area, to protect the way that we have been producing for a long time, those agaves that have been growing just here and not elsewhere, and to keep it that the word mezcal. No, so we decided. No, we made this comparison. Like, what if we go with this spirit? Agave spirits, no brand. But basically, we had like many things, no, that we could sell. On the one hand, what we discovered with agave spirits is that basically we can have more brand and storytelling, and also we have like less requirements to sell on the market because there's nobody who is certifying you. So basically, what we decided is to keep it as a mezcal, and to keep it basically with quality and the standards that are required. So it's just basically, it's not like we are certifying ourselves, but that there is someone else who is certifying. But also we are giving to the consumer the minimum standards that the government is asking. No? So and then also what we have is full traceability, that all the places, all the fields where we obtain the agave, we know where where the agaves are coming from. That we can also plant more agaves than what is established. Being an agave spirit, you don't have to plant more agaves of the ones that you are using, no? From the ones that you are using. So, but in the case of us, we replant more than the ones that we're using. We believe that keeping wild agaves is very important, not only for us, but also for the Oaxacan and the Mezcal culture, especially in Zapotec communities. So, and basically, it's about also guaranteeing the alcohol percentage that we have, that about the toxicity, and that we comply, no, with the federal consumer law and federal health law. So it's basically just telling that we also comply with everything. So that's why we decided to keep it as a mezcal, no, because it's also like giving a little bit more, no, and also to the product, and it's not that we are just by ourselves saying that our product is the best product.
That's great. That's good to know. If anyone has some question, please make sure to put your question below and put your comments, and so we can also like interact with Jorge and myself. So if any have any questions, shoot. Don't be shy. All right, what do you got over here for us, Jorge? Additional production. What stands Convite aside from or makes it very special? Now that I read, it's an artisanal production versus I also learned like we have 3 different ways to produce mezcal. You got the ancestral way, the artisanal way, and then the what's the last one? Production, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit more of why Convite and why like a mezcal being artisanal is something special.
Yeah. So here you'll get some points, no, about our production. So what makes us different? So you know that mezcal basically is like quite straightforward, no? Like making a salsa. If you do a salsa, we could all make salsa, but who makes the best salsa? No, I think that is like the important part. No, and also if we are family, and one of us will prepare a better salsa than the others. Yeah. So basically, one of the things that we do is that we just produce in just one palenque. We have a single palenque production. We believe that it's just possible to bring more benefits to the family, to the local families, and also we can control more the quality. And because we produce like around our capacity is like around produce two, our capacity is like around 90,000 liters a year, no? But we think that with that standard, it's like basically you can produce the mezcal that is needed, so you don't need to outsource elsewhere. So when you can just work in one palenque and do everything in one palenque, look after the quality, and also strengthen the relationship with the maestros mezcaleros. I think that this is one important part that makes us different. No. Also, another thing that makes us different is the spring water that we use is not like water, because you know that in Oaxaca we don't have like much the drainage doesn't work properly like in towns. So what we do it is like our production is right there in the mountains, and then that's why we use spring water, so the water is not polluted. No.
Okay.
Then we also have three maestros mezcaleros. The main maestro mezcalero is Daniel Hernandez. He's sixth generation of maestro mezcalero.
Wow.
But basically, what is important to have the maestros mezcaleros, proper maestros mezcaleros, doing the distillation, or to be there at the right time, is like basically when the fermentation is ready. If the fermentation is ready at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., that they are ready to do it. So because
I saw it happen. It's like, oh, this is ready to go in. If you don't put it in, you lose the fermentation.
The fermentation point, which is, I think that this is very, very important for to have a good product. Then we also have a very strict selection of agaves. We only use capones, agaves mature, which are in the right point, And then also what makes us different is the natural yeast that is from the local region. So our mezcals will always have the same taste. Well, not same taste, but the same yeast. So you will get to know like just only one type of that the brand can be distinguished from any others, no? Because natural yeast, they could be different from town to town. No?
Yeah.
And then what also is very important for us is like we have full traceability, from all stages of the production. And then we comply with the Mexican standard, 070. We comply with the physical chemical analysis, and ensuring that the product we have sustainability with the consumption and commercialization. So, and basically, what we do is just we want to give the best product that there is available.
Excellent.
With the highest quality. We also are very worried about sustainability. That's why we stress that it's very important to know where all the agaves come from. So because if you don't have traceability where your agaves come from, then you are then into a serious problem. And that is what is happening right now in Oaxaca, that people are cutting agaves and they're not replanting them. And that goes very into these into these categories that they don't ask for them to really have the traceability of those agaves. And then I saw something very important there, because we as a consumers, we should know where those agaves come from, and that we're not destroying and we're not cutting and we're not finishing with our agave culture. What other thing we have done is that mezcal is a new thing. It was and also about the certification, the classification of different species of agaves. It was this guy who is the super expert on agaves. Recently he classified 4 varieties of agaves in Mexico, in Oaxaca.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came with us, and then it was funny because I was there with the maestro mezcalero Daniel, and then in a photo, and then he contacted us because he saw the agave.
The agave behind you.
I want to know about that agave, and we started to work with him. So from scratch. So when so we sent to him like photos of the quiote, and then we sent like flowers and different things, and then we were working with him to classify the mezcal, the agave lioba, which is coyote, because coyote there are like two varieties, but then it used to be like one. It was only one Oaxacensis, but then this one, Variedad Americana, and this and but what we have is a different agave, which is Lioba agave, no. So basically, this is what we do. We do in our community. What we want is to prevent the endemic species that we have there. No, this is what makes us different as well, and this is what people know that we do here in Oaxaca.
That's awesome that Convite was part of that new varietal for the coyote plant and the agave. Excellent.
Yeah, so it was funny. It was
so exciting.
Yeah. Then so what is what we believe in Mezcal Convite, no? We believe that we must retain the value here in Oaxaca, that we should have our own community. Oaxaca, in Mexico we have 32 states, but Oaxaca in terms of poverty is 31 out of 32. In terms of in social index, we are also coming 31 out of 32. So Oaxaca is where it needs the most, and is where we need to keep the value chain in Oaxaca. No, this is something that we do in Oaxaca with Mezcal Convite. So we promote fair trade, and then we employ local talent, because it's not only about the production. So, but it's also about bottling. It's also about marketing, distributing, accountability. Different activities that they are not seen there as well. No, and then it's very important for us. For instance, women are very important. No, there is for instance, everything is just changing here in the mezcal culture. No, on the one hand, there is Señora Amparo, who is Maestro Mezcalero Daniel's wife. And then she's also in charge of feeding everyone at the palenque, which is also very important, because then we have this palenque where we don't have electricity and we don't have running water. So it's a very important part, and she is feeding them. And also Elisa, who is Maestro Mezcalero Daniel, is the daughter of Daniel. And then she's also helping with the quality production, to oversee the quality. And that makes us also very important. No? And then in the bottling facilities and in the offices, we hire like around 90% of the people that work with us, 90% are women. So it's also very important part of, women are a very important part of Convite. So, and we carry out 100% of our activities here in Oaxaca. So that we plant, we produce, we bottle, and then from here, we send to supermarkets, we export, we do export, we do all the tramits, we do accountability, promoting, doing a little bit of marketing, a little bit of media, but then we do it here from Oaxaca. No? So it's not like basically, because a difference with other brands is that they take the mezcal and they bottle it somewhere else, or they do the high value activities elsewhere. No? So, and then I'm going to talk to you briefly about our agaves and about some of the products that we do here in Mezcal Convite. I don't know, you have a question, Jomar?
No, that's all right. We can keep going, because I can ask the question once we pull out one of your the una. We can go back to the community sense, but yeah, we can keep going forward.
Cool. So we have in Mezcal Convite, we started by producing only wild agaves, because that was the way mezcal used to be produced originally, only wild agaves. But then we do complicated things. No? We do the most difficult part of the agaves, because some of them are quite difficult to distill, some difficult to cut, to ferment, and to distill. No, like for instance with jabalí. Jabalí is a species that lives in the cliffs. No, it takes like around 20 to 25 years to reach maturity, and then to cut it is very important that you cut it there, and then the piña just goes down, and then you have to go there with the burrito, and then take it to the take the agaves to the to the palenque, to the distillery, and then it's very important, no? For instance, with jabalí to be there to look after the fermentation, because it's a different fermentation. It produces also a lot of gases, so you have to be very attentive with jabalí, and also at the moment of distilling the jabalí. So you have to do it very slow temperature. So, and then there are not like many brands out there that produce jabalí and also tepextate. And we believe that we can produce, like the most complicated things like jabalí, like tepextate, or making these varieties like coyote, which is the scarcest type of agave, is that basically we can produce anything. No, so that's what we believe that is what we do. No, we are more specialized. We were specialized. We believe that we're champions at producing wild agaves. But then we thought that if we could produce this, we could also produce something other mezcal as well, as a competitive price with high quality. And that's why we have Esencial, which is espadín. We name it Esencial because it's like basic, like basic entrance. Anything that you drink in mezcal, I would say that it has to be espadín. Has to be essential to drink espadín, for you to get to know about mezcal culture.
Because, yeah, very catchy. I got one over here.
Yeah, 85% of the 85% of the total production from the category is espadín. So we have it in this bottle, which is easy to handle as well at the bar. And then we with this espadín is like introduction because it's the type of agave, but it's also the mezcal. It's a good point to get to know about other varieties, about other species of agaves. So you get to know this one has a 40% ABV and is easy to drink, and it's also easy to combine in cocktails. Then we created Una.
There we go.
Which is basically a espadín and is tinted with cochineal grain. That was an idea that we developed during the pandemic. During pandemia, it was important to see what we could do. No, it's not sales were not moving much, but we were just
So on this one, you were thinking about community and those ladies that were working or are part of the community, and this happened. How this happened?
Yeah, and then it's we believe that the women are an important part in our community, and they also need more respect, and they also need to be known. No? They also need to be known. They also need recognition. And then what we do with this mezcal, it was joining two ingredients, two products from Oaxaca that Oaxaca has given to the world. On the one hand, we have agaves, and then on the other hand, we have the cochineal grain. When the Spanish arrived here in Mexico, they were like amazed to see that red color. That red color used to be very, very expensive in Europe. Mm-hmm. And then they were surprised, no? Oh, what's that? No? And they discovered that that color came from this insect that lives in the nopal, in the cactus plant. And then they tried to export to Europe, but because of the weather conditions, they couldn't. So the weather conditions were located just here in Oaxaca. Oaxaca was the main producer of cochineal grain for 300 years. But the important part is that at that time, and for 300 years, Oaxaca produced in the new Mexico, before being named Mexico, it was the New Spain. And the New Spain exported. The first export product was silver, and the second one was cochineal grain. And like around 99% of the cochineal grain came from Oaxaca. So Oaxaca gave that color to the world. So this is we're mixing these two fantastic products that we give it to the world, and then we obtain this mezcal, this pink mezcal, which is also honoring women, and we name it Una because Una means woman in Zapotec.
Okay.
And then it's also we were like thinking how we can give back to community now. We then talked to the mezcal to the breast cancer foundation in Mexico, and then for every sale for every bottle we give to them 10% of the sales go to help that to help to prevent breast cancer no, and
That's
which is
amazing.
like the most important part is that helps indigenous women and women from the community to go and do their mastography, or even if they are detected, they with that money they can help that person to with the treatment. So it's also an amazing. It's amazing what the product can do for the local, for the region, and for women in those indigenous communities.
That's awesome to hear. And great that Convite is involved with the community and with the ladies and women of the community. So and giving back to it. So, and I was part of it. I when Nick and I went to the Vice residency, we were fortunate enough to be on the day of the breast cancer day and celebration week, and we did an event for Convite. So we did like a double uh, what is it called, pop-up activation, and they invited us to be part of that event, and that was very very magical and very beautiful to be part of it while being over there and visiting Oaxaca and learning all of mezcal and Convite. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's amazing. Normally, we have sent more than 300 women to help with the treatment. No? And what is also like the breast cancer foundation, what they do is that if they see that some indigenous an indigenous woman has a problem, then help with the treatment with that money as well. So which is amazing. We have received letters that just make you cry, like just tell you that they don't have words to thank you, all the job, all the work and that we have been doing. But it's just basically promoting this product Una to help and to give back to the community as well. Because we should remember that with illness, and especially here in Mexico, it's just an important cause that leads to poverty.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have another product which is new product and new product for the US, which is we just send it there to the US. It's a pechuga, and
Oh,
this is a product that you guys from the bartender residency have helped us to think of. And you know that you guys you came with us and you went to see the production, you went to see agaves, we went to see we went to this Cochino Grain Museum. We have done many activities, but we also been doing these sensorial activities and tasting pechuga. Most of the bartenders were telling me this is a super product and we want to use it. They started telling me that they want to use it for the guest bartending in Oaxaca now, because it was very easy to combine and many flavors. And they said like, oh, this is just amazing. That would be like an amazing product for cocktails. So
yeah, I think officially the pechuga will be available in the US July, August, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then what we know is that basically to make cocktails with this pechuga is just amazing. It's just very herbal with a lot of spices, and then it's like a different product, and that's why we decided we had pechuga in a different bottle, but then what we do is just transfer to this bottle that would help with the cost and also with the handling at the bar.
Yeah.
So which also makes
Yeah, because I remember it was one of the low baller
exactly,
bottles. Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
And yeah, it has a super not vegan. So for all you that are vegans, Pachuga is not vegan, but I'm a vegetarian. So either way, I tasted it, and we played with it, and I think we did like a version of gin and tonic.
Exactly,
And
that's
my
correct.
my bar resident partner Nick uh, did a version of a gin and tonic, and it was well, it would be mezcal and tonic, and it was beautiful, very very delightful.
Yeah, and we also learned many things from you guys, no? Like also the maestros mezcaleros have learned a lot, and what we could do with tonic water, no? Just tonic water and mezcal. So maestros mezcaleros were also drinking. Daniel was drinking just a little bit of mezcal and a bit of tonic water, and it was those all the flavors from the agave just came up. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And then we also learned a lot from you guys, from you bartenders. So there are like the three products we have here, like four cocktails for mixing and also for sipping, no? Which is like an entrance point for people who know, who are just starting to know about mezcal, or for people who want to know just you don't care much about when you don't care much about about complexity, but you just want to get what the flavors of the good mezcal. No?
Excellent.
And then this is our other products that I already mentioned. We have a blend of espadin and madrecuiche, and then we have jabalí, coyote, and tepextate, which are I would say, like the most difficult types of agaves or rare agaves to
Right.
distill. And it's also just I would say like this is more like for people who know more about mezcal, no? Who have more experience, who have uh, get to know a little bit more about the mezcal and also its complexity.
Excellent. So yeah, maybe I can share a little bit more about me being there on the bar residency and my own experience, and get to know all these beautiful plants and agaves. Uh, I think what I took the most of from my experience in the bar residency was the essence of creating this spirit, and actually tasting all the notes uh, of the plant. uh, I got to spend some time with the maestro, with Daniel and Tucho, and I really saw how deeply they put into the whole life into it. uh, but for example, people ask about reposado and añejo, but then I really learned is from a good mezcal, you don't need to age a beautiful mezcal because it's already aged on the plant. So the age already happened and on the plant. So I really saw that and really taste the how you want to call it, like terroir flavors or local flavors. Uh, I remember doing the hike. We did all the hike all the way in the mountains to see and find the different wild agaves they use for the production. And I remember Tucho showing me little plants, and then taking a sip. Once we were like resting for a minute or so, taking a sip of the mezcal because he took some mezcal on his backpack, and then actually tasting those plants. I remember we saw like a little red plant. It almost tastes like pepper. Uh, so that was a great experience. But aside of that, also is the whole culture and like value of 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 your heritage, and presented on the food, on how people are very welcoming, and all the colors in the city, and the convite and the fiesta, right? We saw all the, I forgot the name, when they do the progressions of the music when someone is either getting married. How do you call that, Jorge?
Calenda.
Calenda, exacto, la calenda. Eh, we saw so many of those, and having that first-hand experience there in the city, I took that as a like a reality. Like, oh, I can go back to my roots, really represent whatever spirit I'm using, and showcasing that and welcoming it to the world. Uh, Oaxaca brought me that to my current present, and I'm super honored and grateful to be part of this beautiful experience. Um, and I would like to have any questions that anyone's wanna ask us. In the meantime, I would like to give thanks to Jorge, of course, of Convite Mezcal, Love Flash Production, and Portland Cocktail Week for welcome on putting us over here talking about a little bit of mezcal and presenting these great spirits to the world. Also, of course, to again to know us without us to curate all this month, agave Mexican Spirit Month. And then don't forget that I forgot earlier to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our channels on YouTube, uh, follow us on Instagram. So if you like this, please put your heart and like on it. And yeah, please comment and questions. You can choose some questions for us. So let me see. I think we have a question over here. Uh, Time for it. All right. Uh, how does your background as an economist influence your vision for Convite and how you are structured the business? As for you, Jorge.
Yeah, you know, this is a funny question because I studied economics because I was like thinking, I'll just one day I want to become a public servant and help my community. And, you know, I got to study economics and got to study regional economics. And then I went to at the UNAM in Mexico City, then went to London. And I was always like thinking of that, no, on helping the community. But then I came back to Mexico. I decided that basically I was not happy with it. I was not happy. It was a lot of corruption. It was a lot of favoritism with some that people were like at the government were employing the friend of the friend, or you know. So and then it was like things were not going to change. So I just quit. I decided it was not my life, and I said at that point. Um, I studied so many years. I'm not going to use anything of this. But you know that somehow it has helped. Like for instance, with the language, this is one thing that has helped me. And then other thing that's also good is like basically get to know how to structure, no, the convite, how to structure mezcal, no, because mezcal we were not unified in the past. It was very common for everyone to hear that mezcaleros were not like really assembled, that they were not united until until 7 years ago. 7 years ago, um, there were three states, which were Mexico State, Morelos State, and Aguascalientes State, that also wanted the designation of origin mezcal. And it was the first time ever that we just organized, we organized just mezcaleros from Oaxaca, and then and we stopped that, no, because it was easily for everyone to open the designation of origin for mezcal, no. So we stopped it legally. We went even with that the governor at that time, and when we I don't know how to say that in English. I give a marcha in Mexico City. So it was like a big thing, but it was knowing me myself, knowing how the government works, how the local government works, and also knowing from the production point of view, from the entrepreneur point of view, it also has helped me to understand more mezcal, no? Because mezcal is very complex. Economics has helped me to understand like the economics of agaves, for instance. No? When is the right time to plant? And also to sell the product, because you could have the best product, but the important part is that you need to sell it. No? So and it's also to understand how the on and the off trade works, and different activities that we carry out, how important they are, no? And also like looking for the help of the government for not only for us but for the whole category, for the whole mezcaleros in Oaxaca. And that's why I became the president of the Mezcal Cluster in Oaxaca. So it's so economics has helped me in that sense, no? And I think that I'm more like into a social and giving back to my community in a different way, no?
That's great. Yes. That way you can keep pushing it forward and keep pushing our culture forward and heritage. Love it. Gracias, Jorge. Thank you, Jorge. This was amazing. I'm super happy to be part of this. And thank you, Convite Mezcal. Keep an eye out for Mexican Spirits Companion PDF coming out later this month. It is filled with delicious recipes and cocktails and stories behind the brands that are inspired by them. And you can get a copy by signing into our newsletter at lushlightproduction.com and newsletters. So keep an eye on that. And again, thank you so much. Please hit like and love the button, and also comment and have some questions for us. And also follow us on Portland Cocktail Week on Facebook and on YouTube. You can find us or keep up with us and Jorge at Convite Mezcal Convite. That's our Instagram, and at Joralin and Co. And then I'm Jomar Santos. You can find me at jomex.santos. You can DM us anytime to keep the conversation going. And then Portland Cocktail will be back soon. So on a summer break, please stay tuned. And we'll be back on September. And thank you, and have a wonderful summer. Gracias, Jorge and Dishbe.
Dios, and thank you all. Thank you, Jomar. It was a pleasure talking to you about mezcal. And then also, you have like any questions, just please let us know. You also gave all the media, the social media, and then well, anytime that you're here in Oaxaca, I'm more than welcome to talk to you, to come to Casa Convite, which is the first project for mezcal in the world about teaching more about mezcal. No?
Thank you.
So, thank you.